Sydney University. So congratulations to you all. We have a wonderful occasional speaker today, Shaun Bonétt, one of Australia's leading business persons. Shaun founded Precision Group in 1994 and he's built the business over 21 years to be one of Australia's most successful private property investment, development and management companies. In addition, Shaun has made a number of successful equity investments, including in the early stages of ASX-listed company iSelect Limited, in which he serves as a director, and in Litigation Lending Services Limited, in which Shaun acts as chairman. Shaun holds a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Law and a graduate diploma in legal practice. Shaun is an active member of the Australian Institute of Company Directors and the Young Presidents Organisation, and a member of the President's Council of the Art Gallery of New South Wales. Shaun is also a director of the Chinese Language and Culture Education Foundation of Australia Limited and founder of his own charity, the Heartfelt Foundation. Mr. Bonétt, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to the university, and I invite you to deliver the occasional address.
Good afternoon, Dean Whitewell, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. I'm honoured to have been invited here today to give the occasional address at your graduation ceremony. I remember my own university years as some of the most enjoyable years of my life, some memories of which on a social level I am unable to share with you, but on an educational and personal level, I will. The collegiate spirit and thirst for knowledge that exists during your university years is truly to be celebrated as a pinnacle of human behaviour in our society. However, one of the more challenging times at university I recall for most of my peer group was the transition that occurred from graduation to full-time working life. And so I thought today it may be useful to provide my reflections on the qualities that assisted me with this transition and helped me to make the most of the opportunities that were presented to me. Firstly, and above all, the cradle of power is in keeping calm and not acting too quickly during times of stress or what may appear to be urgent situations. In this modern world we live in, the most common mistakes I see reoccurring at all levels is what I call rapid response that people make in sending off emails, believing they require an immediate response. When I first came out of university, people actually still responded the old-fashioned way with hard copy letters. I would dictate a letter which would then be presented to me in draft. I would edit the letter over the next 2 or 3 days and eventually sign it, and it would be sent. What has happened to reflection? The objectivity that one is able to obtain with the benefit of time to assess the pros and cons of a situation. Let me stress to you that it is your most powerful tool to grasp opportunities and differentiate yourself from the masses. Secondly, and one of my trademarks in business has consistently been to seek for win-win situations. My observation is that human nature approaches business with the belief system that there has to be a loser in order for there to be a winner. And yet, in my experience, this is often not the case. Indeed, the best deals I have experienced are when someone wishes to sell an asset and I have been willing to buy, or when someone needs funds to grow their business, or when there is an inventor with a great idea but needing assistance to commercialise it. I encourage you to keep a broad perspective and listen to what others actually need and consider how you can make things work. 3, if you have an aspiration to go into a sales role, I encourage you not to sell. People who sell a commodity or a position often paint themselves into a corner. In my experience, present the facts, explain why you consider them to be compelling, but leave it to the person you are dealing with to make their own decisions. Ironically, this is how I have observed the greatest level of integrity and credibility is achieved, without the fanfare of a marketing campaign and a lot of expense. 4, until an agreement is reached, I encourage you to hold firmly to the view that freedom of the individual to change their mind, even at the last minute, is sacred. Don't try to lock someone into a deal before the ink is dry. Moreover, feel free to even remind the party you are dealing with in a transaction that if they do not wish to proceed, they are free to do so, and you will not think any less of them. 5, embrace change. Change can be rapid and disruptive, or slow and invasive. Few people are truly open to leading change, which often is the nucleus of extraordinary opportunities. And that has been a key characteristic of some of the founders of the largest companies in the world over the last 30 years. Their ability to grasp a new idea and their willingness to then run with it with great determination and see it succeed. 6, stay positive and recognize the things you can't change, keeping the bigger picture in mind, and most importantly, as Rudyard Kipling wrote, to look at triumphs and failures as imposters. It's all about the way we play the game. I recall a great piece of advice my parents gave me when I entered the business world, and that was never to crush people. At the end of the day, you need to live with yourself, but just as importantly, people like to deal with those they can trust and rely upon to act reasonably, objectively, and humanely. 7, be fair and speak up. It's not just about what courts say is legally permissible, but about being decent and living by your own higher standards. And finally, celebrate others' success, not only your own. Life is finite, and it's fundamentally important that we give time to acknowledge others' efforts, respect them, and celebrate with them. Lastly, I encourage you to take time on a regular basis to invest in your own physical, mental, and emotional well-being, because in this way you will become the vehicle of your life's vision. And on this note, may I sincerely congratulate all of you and wish you the greatest success in your future pursuits. Thank you.
On behalf of the University, I wish to thank Shaun Bonétt for his inspirational words. Ladies and gentlemen, the formal part of the proceedings have now been completed. The Pro-Chancellor and Fellows of the